type motion. Sometimes that'll happen more often, as those pitches will be left far outside, or inside, excuse me.
Jackson Coots now will be the hitter. He had a single his last time up. Came around to score as well. Pardon me, not Coots at the plate. Another pinch hitter for Falmouth. Looks like Austin Mazel. Am I right in that?
Mazel likely coming in left field for Coots. Got some experience in the outfield.
Running down to second on the pitch and stealing second is Maddox Houghton. So a lot of stolen base attempts by Falmouth. And 3 out of 4 is a pretty good clip in game number 1. They're really testing the arm of Oldham behind the plate, and so far so good. 2-0 is the count to Austin Mazel, and he's already got a runner in scoring position in Houghton.
Mazel led the Holy Cross Crusaders in batting average this year at .312.
2-0 to Mazel, taken just off the plate, 3-0. He was a Falmouth Commodore a year ago, was a temporary player, ended up leaving the team early in the season, only played a couple of games.
His last game, though, he went out on a good note, had 2 hits.
Yeah, he was pretty awesome in that last game, and it's disheartening to see. I remember we had him as the featured player on our post-game show.
Sure.
Disheartening to see that about 20 minutes later he was told that he was replaced because Stanford had just been knocked out of the College World Series race, and those guys had come in just about that night. 3-1 will have to wait as Houghton gets looked back.
Yeah, it's sort of a double-edged sword for some of these temporary players. You get to play in the Cape League for a couple weeks, great competition, great coaching, and a great atmosphere, but sometimes those stints come to a close when the other players come to town and the roster's fluid.
3-1, broken bat, bloop into left field. That one's going to fall for a hit. Houghton, who had initially jogged back towards second, will have to stay at third base. That was a splintering shot from Austin Mazel, but luckily for him, that's what secured him the hit.
Almost sounded like a metal bat when it broke.
Yeah.
And that thing snapped in half. I mean, that wasn't like a splinter here or there. That was basically chopped in half as he came down towards first, and no chance for Harris at short or Lamusio in center.
So the Doors leading 4-1 already. Looking to add to that lead with runners on the corners and only 1 out. First, Mazel is going to be checked on over at first base. Mazel in one of his final chances to impress the scouts on the Cape as a rising senior from Holy Cross. He's been great in his college career. Again, struggled a little bit last year in the summer ball. First pitch, fastball on the outside corner to Ben Kasparius, called a strike 0-1.
Kasparius got the ball rolling in that 6th inning. Had an RBI single that tied the game.
He's got another chance to get another RBI. Looking to improve to 2 for 3. He struck out swinging on a 3-2 count his first time up, then had that RBI single. Now with a chance to improve on that. Waldis from the stretch with runners on the corners. Comes home. Mazel is running, and the ball is dropped by Oldham. He couldn't get it out of the glove cleanly. Mazel not with the best jump. High leg kick on the stretch approach from the pitcher Waldis as well. Maybe helps him out a little bit, but definitely gets in there with the now 4th stolen base of the night for the Doors.
Yeah, and that was one of the best jumps that Oldham had behind the plate. He just fumbled the ball when he was moving it from his glove to his throwing hand.
So now second and third, double play out of order. The 1-1 just clips the outside edge. Tough pitch Kasparius had to take. Falmouth threatening in back-to-back innings after putting up all but nothing in the first 5. They had 1 base runner in the first 5. That one came in the first inning. Then the 6th and the 7th, they've really threatened a lot. 1-2 was fouled away. Of course, the 6th inning was the outpouring of runs, 4 runs on 4 hits, and now a chance to do the same just a little while later.
And Danny, the infield's playing far in here for the Mariners. Likely trying to go home on any ground ball that they can field.
Opens up a lot of holes for Ben. The 1-2 from Waldis. Fouled away yet again. Ben Kasparius is one of these few guys on these early season rosters who's from a blue blood program. We know he's transferring to UConn, but played his first 2 years at the University of North Carolina, and they're perennially playing in the postseason. So he's kind of got some of that talent that maybe some of the other guys lack, and he's definitely got that know-how. 1-2. Another foul ball over towards the berm in right field. You look at a lot of these other guys, and you mentioned local guys, Holy Cross, Trinity College, places like that. Some of the places from around the country, Commodores players, Lipscomb, Louisiana Lafayette. Nobody can really say that they have the clout of a UNC Tar Heel.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about the Cape League. It brings all those programs together, and it gives guys from Trinity or Brown a chance to go up against pitchers from Wake Forest and other Power 5 schools.
1-2 is too far inside. And we'll have a ton more of those guys once the college season comes to a full close. Imagine when those Oregon State guys come in.
Yeah.
And you've got, guys from Holy Cross playing alongside guys from Oregon State, a national champion, up against a guy from the Patriot League. 2-2. Bloop shot into shallow center field. Coming on, and that one's going to fall barely on the outfield grass. 1 run will score. 2 runs will score. It's a 2 RBI single for Ben Kasparius, and he maybe hit it 100 feet.
And Danny, you mentioned it when I said that the infield was playing in. You said that opens up a lot of holes. If Dempsey's playing at normal depth over at second base, he moves to his back and his right about 10, 15 feet, and he makes that catch. I mean, it barely touched the grass out in the outfield, but another 2 RBIs for Kasparius.
Now, when I said it opens up a lot of holes, I was expecting a ground ball that beats them. Instead, it's a bloop shot that's too far over his head, and then Lamusio, playing normal depth in center, has no shot. Running again is Kasparius. Throw down to second in the dirt, skips away from the shortstop, Harris. 5 out of 6, the Doors are on stolen bases, and they are just swiping second base at will now.
And that was one of Oldham's best throws. I think Harris should have had that one.
Took a hard skip in the dirt. If he picked it out, he would have had the tag in time.
Cam Bauman, lefty, is warming in the Harwich pen.
6-1 now, the score, still only 1 out. Cantrell at the plate. He's 0 for 2. His last time up, laid down a sacrifice bunt. Batting from the left side for the second time. 2 at-bats from the right side, now 2 from the left. His lone hit was a single through the left side hole as a righty. Waldis comes home, misses downstairs. The Commodores in a wood bat league and a pitcher-dominant league. Last year on opening day, exploded on Hyannis, 10-4 victory, and right now 6 runs on 7 hits. It's nothing to shake your head at.
I will say this though, Danny, not a lot of super hard hit balls, right? We haven't seen any extra base hits for the Commodores. Only saw 1 for Harwich. Just kind of finding the gaps and getting runs across.
Yeah, a couple lucky hits for both sides. 1-2 the count to Cantrell. Now 2-2. That ball skips away. Kasparius going to try to swipe third. Throw down to third. Not in time. Slides feet first around the tag. Beautifully done by Ben Kasparius. That's a tough slide to make on a great throw from Oldham.
Yeah, it's been a tough day for Oldham behind the plate. Even on that one of his better throws, the fact that he bobbled and wasn't able to control that ball in the dirt gave Kasparius third.
Infield comes in yet again. Ball misses upstairs. Full count. These relievers for Harwich cannot really do much against the Doors offense. Logan Allen was perfect, and then Menendez behind him struggled. Now Waldis is struggling after him. Bullpen for Falmouth, meanwhile, Logan Hoffman has been a stud. Payoff pitch, fly ball into right field. That should be deep enough to score Kasparius. Galland settles underneath it. Kasparius coming home. The throw into the plate. It's going to be a play at the plate. Nope. Instead, Kasparius jogs in ahead of it as that throw came up the third base line.
Last time that Cantrell was up, he had a sac bunt that moved Coots and Kasparius over 90 feet each. This was a sac fly to right field that gives Falmouth their 7th run in just 2 innings.
7-1 score. Falmouth, as you mentioned, all 7 of them coming in the 6th and the 7th. Base is empty for Trey Cruz. Swings the first pitch, goes the other way, and squeaks it just through the hole yet again. Another softly hit baseball. It seems like nothing, like you mentioned earlier, has been hard hit.
Hey, but they'll take it. This inning stays alive. Cruz over at first. Now 8 hits for the Commodores.
Blake Dunn will be the hitter. He had a single and 2 RBIs his last time up. First pitch he sees from Waldis hits the outside corner. Dunn, the center fielder from Western Michigan, is going to be probably a staple towards the middle of this lineup. Even when some of those more Power 5 schools start coming in, he put up such a good season that you can't take him out of the lineup. 0-1 misses way outside, and the wild pitch will skip up against the backstop. Trey Cruz will take second base. Wheels coming off for Harwich in full force.
Yeah, that pitch just low and outside. Tough for Oldham.
Yeah, no chance he has of scooping that one. It was way into the left-handed batter's box. 1-1 to Dunn, misses upstairs. So it looked like he was going to be a pitcher's duel. He mentioned it a couple times. You were saying Tommy Sheehan, Logan Allen looking very sharp. We thought maybe a 2-1 game, 1-0, who knows? And all of a sudden, Falmouth broke it open in the 6th and the 7th. Trying to get off to a good start in game 1 of 44. When catches the inside corner, nearly hit Dunn, but it broke inside at the last second. Of course, the Doors won opening day last year and then fell to 2-7, I believe it was.
Yeah, 2-8, I think. 6 straight losses.
Slow tapper up the third base line. This is a no man's land. Dunn's going to be there in plenty of time. The throw comes in way late. Blake Dunn, who's already swiped a bag, now gets first base on a slowly tapped infield single. The speed from the Bronco is looking pretty good.
No doubt, and another infield single for the Commodores.
Hey, it counts.
It still
in
does.
Tomorrow's box
same
score,
on the spreadsheet. Yeah, exactly.
Tomorrow's box score looks like a line drive. Another mound meeting, this time between Hunter Waldis and his pitching coach. So we mentioned that the Commodores won game 1 last year, then fell to 2-8, and then turned it on. The bats came, the Stanford guys came, the Florida guys came, the Auburn guys came. Bats turned on, and they were pretty fine throughout the rest of the way. But just looking at this lineup early in game 1, I mean, you've got a ton of permanent players already off the bat. Cantrell, Cruz, Dunn, Turner. I mean, your top 4 are permanent guys, and they had great seasons as well from their respective schools. So you're not really looking at a haphazard, strung-together lineup. And Jeff Trundy said as much. He said, I'm usually hoping if I can field 9 by opening day, but I've got a lot this year.
Yeah, they have 25 who are in Falmouth right now. A lot of them are rising juniors. 15 of the 25, and then 7 rising seniors, 3 young guys and rising sophomores.
It's a pretty complete lineup put together from the get-go. We'll see if that holds up. Runners on the corners with 2 outs, and the hitter is Michael Turner. He's 0 for 3. Righty-lefty matchup, first pitch. Downstairs, and Turner gets ahead 1-0. Dorsef put together 4 hits in this inning. They had 4 hits last inning as well. Two 2-0 now to the catcher out of Kent State University.
Waldis has struggled on the bump here in the 7th.
Gotta love those early season ERAs. 40-plus ERA just because he's throwing his first pitches of the summer.
We love inflated stats.
The thing is, in the summer, I mean, he might have an early exit as like a temp or something like that.
Sure.
And then you look at point streak at the end of the season, and you wonder, what's this guy doing with a 40 ERA? Oh, that's right, he only threw 3 innings all summer.
Right.
2-1 misses outside. Now 3-1. And even if he does stay, even if he's a permanent guy, I mean, you look at some of those players, and they might rack up 25 innings. Is a lot on the Cape.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I think one of the highest workloads for Falmouth last year was around 35.
Yeah.
Doesn't get much more than that. And that's why you see some of the earlier leashes, tighter leashes, I should say.
3-1 is flown out into center field, but there and making the grab on the run is Lamusio, and that will retire the side. But the Commodores put on a couple more. They score 3 runs on 4 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. We head to the 8th inning, Falmouth leading 7-1.
What's this experience been like for you?
Oh, we love coming here. We used to just be able to come once a week, or excuse me, 1 week a year, but now we have our own place here, so we just come. We'll come to all the home games during the week. In the summertime, the dogs aren't allowed on the beaches, so walking them over to the stadium here is really a lot of fun for the dogs, and they have a good time meeting people and getting petted and trying to scarf up food as best as they can.
Obviously, opening night off to a good start for the Commodores. What do you expect to see from the team this season?
I'm really hoping they can go all the way in the playoffs. You know, their appetites have been whetted in the last couple of years. I want to see them go all the way this year.
All right, thank you. Danny and David, back to you guys.
So how about that, Katie, doing an audio hit for us, because interesting landscape here at the Gov Fuller Field. All over the place are the fans sitting, so we found a loyal fan on the berm saying that he wants to see this team go all the way. A wet appetite, I like that phrase for the playoffs for the Doors.
I got to say, I'm biased, too, towards the fans with the dogs. I'm a big fan of those. Manager Chris Fitzgerald has his dog, who he calls the mascot of the team, Charlie. And a lot of fans bring him out. It's a great family environment here at Gov Fuller Field. We're glad Katie got to catch up with one such fan. And a pitching change for Falmouth yet again. This is Hayden Rosenkrantz coming in from Washington State.
Saw Washington State Cougar on the team last year in A.J. Block. Now Hayden Rosenkrantz will be representing Wazoo. Austin Maisel, as we mentioned, who pinch hit last inning. He'll come in left field for Coots. So Maisel in left, Rosenkrantz on the bump. 1-0 becomes 2-0 quickly to the left-handed Matt Oldham. (7-1) score in favor of Falmouth. Harwich has their work cut out for them. That won't help. Ground ball over at the first baseman, Kasparius. Steps on the bag himself. Pardon me. That's no longer Kasparius. Got a couple more substitutions in the defense for Falmouth as they look for some defensive replacements.
Yeah, Ryan Berardino in at first. Chris Rinaldi over at second. Trey Cruz staying out at short. Maisel comes in left. And the rest of the outfield stays the same with Dunn in center and Houghton out in right.
Whole host of changes. Here's a ground ball right at Rinaldi with his first chance, and he airmails the throw. He was only about 15 feet away from first base, and he sent that one maybe 15 feet over the head of Berardino.
Got to be some jitters over at second base. He had to knock that one down, and it stayed in front of him, so he probably rushed the throw a little bit. And as you said, sent it above Berardino, but that's one that he can shake off. And luckily, Falmouth has a little bit of a cushion here in the 8th inning.
So runner on second now after the E4. Rosenkrantz fires a fastball off the glove of the catcher Turner. Goes back towards the backstop. And now advancing over to third base is Lamusio. He has gone all the way to third on the last 2 pitches through really no credit of his own.
And I thought I got all the defensive substitutions.
Oh, boy.
I missed one.
Behind
Sean
the plate.
Harrington behind the plate
Had a feeling.
from Babson. So Michael Turner comes out of the game.
That one Harrington is able to hang on to, and taking a huge hack is Chris Galland. Comes up empty. So 7-1, looking for defensive replacements, looking for some guys to get some reps. That's what Jeff Trundy is opting for.
Makes sense. Early in the season, you want these guys to get some reps at their various positions.
Rinaldi, though, with his first shot. Not looking too hot.
That'll be one when it's week 2, 3. That'll be one he can look back and laugh at, but he's probably replaying that one in his mind a few times
thinking,
right now.
how the heck did I do that?
Right.
2-1 breaking ball misses well outside to Galland. Now 3-1. So Rosenkrantz running into trouble. He should be ahead 2 outs with nobody on base. Instead, there's a runner on third in Lamusio, who's now reached base 2 times on the day. 2-1 fastball is fouled back into the screen. Pardon me, 3-1 fastball. Now it's a full count. So final line for Logan Hoffman, coming in relief of Tommy Sheehan, ran into trouble in his first inning of work, then was lights out. He allowed 1 hit and 1 run through 3 innings of work, but racked up 6 strikeouts. More than half of the batters he faced were K victims. Payoff pitch misses downstairs, and it's a walk worked out by Galland. So first and third for the Mariners, as they've got Cam Thompson coming up to the dish. Nope, we've got another pinch hitter.
This is always the fun part when we keep track.
Yeah, and all the guys
the
are new,
changes.
so we don't know any of the numbers yet either. It's a mess.
You're not supposed to say that part. We're supposed to pretend like we know. Ben Brooks coming in as the pinch hitter. He's from Memphis, as you said. Rising junior.
So Brooks with a chance in his very first at-bat as a pinch hitter to do some damage. He swings the first pitch he sees, grounds it to short. Cruz, little trouble fielding it. Throw on to first on the relay. Not in time, as getting dragged off the bag was Berardino. So another errant throw by Rinaldi, the second baseman. Looked like it might be too slow for a 6-4-3 double play. The flip was in time from Cruz, but again, Berardino with an errant throw.
Yeah, I didn't think that one was as much on Rinaldi. I think it would have been tough to turn 2 either way because Cam Thompson has a lot of speed. Ben Brooks has a lot of speed going down that first baseline.
So 6-4 fielder's choice and an RBI for Brooks. And Chris Lanzilli will come up to the plate.
Scores another run for Harwich as well, trying to chip away as they get their final hacks.
Still 7-2, so comfortable lead for Hayden Rosenkrantz and company. Lanzilli, though, the 3-hitter with Cavadas, the 4-hitter on deck. So you want to get out of this inning now before any more guys come on base and potentially this game gets closer. 0-1 is cut on and missed. Beautiful breaking ball by Rosenkrantz, and he's quickly ahead 2 strikes. So no hits in the inning, but 3 runners have reached base, and one of them has come home. An error, a walk, and a fielder's choice. 0-2 is grounded foul sharply up the left field line, but just a hair to the left of it. Lanzilli 1 for 3. He grounded out to the pitcher, singled his second time up, then struck out swinging. Rosenkrantz just needs 1 more strike to get out of the inning, and he won't get it there as Lanzilli lost his bat as well, went flying over towards the away broadcasters, right in front of those Harwich guys with their headsets on at that table. Saw a couple of bats fly out of the hands of some players on the Cape last year. That one, not quite as dangerously. So the count still 0-2 to Lanzilli as he tries to keep the inning alive. The pitch, another ground ball foul. Falmouth with 7 runs on 9 hits, 1 error. Harwich, 2 runs on 4 hits, no errors. Mariners only have 4 more outs to work with if they want to make something happen on opening day. The 0-2 misses too low. Cavada stands on deck. He's 1 for 3, just like Lanzilli. Rosenkrantz is 1-2. Fly ball way deep, but way foul, as Lanzilli was way out ahead of that one.
Lanzilli 1 for 3 today. Reached in that 4th inning, but was left stranded. It's really just those big innings for the Commodores that have been the difference in this one.
Another foul ball. You're right. The 6th and the 7th has really been the difference. Otherwise, it's been a pitcher's duel all around those innings. Harwich with a run scored in the 5th, now a run scored in the 8th.
And clean work by the Falmouth pitchers so far. Mike Landry hasn't had to make any mound visits, and the changes have been made in between innings, with Sheehan going in even 4, Hoffman going in even 3. Rosenkrantz trying to maybe finish this one out as no one is warming in the Falmouth pen.
That would be pretty ideal, be able to get some work for some of your guys, save a lot of your other guys early in the season. You know that Falmouth is one of the better teams at preserving arms. We saw that last year. 1-2 tap back to the mound. Rosenkrantz gets there in plenty of time. Underhand flip onto first base, and that'll do it. 1 run is scored. Nobody got a hit. There was 1 error and a runner left on base. So we will head to the home half of the 8th. Falmouth leading 7-2. We've got the video feed back up and running for the last couple of innings, so that's good. Working out the quirks
I'm
on
tipping the
opening
cap
day.
to our producer, Tony Bianco, because the patience that's needed to operate this software is patience that I don't have. I know I definitely, but we appreciate all of her hard work as well as our team behind the scenes here in the Eric Palmer press box.
So while the Doors work out, their kinks to start the season, adjust to the wood bat, adjust to things, we adjust to things as well up in the press box. Hope you're following along as well. Commodores have adjusted quite well, leading 7-2, and trying to add on a couple more insurance runs in the home 8th. Tyler Ross takes ball number 1 up and away. Fly ball now towards the right side. Foul territory, ranging over and unable to record the out is the first baseman Cavadas. Pardon me, it's Alex Volpe now taking his hacks at the designated hitting position. So no more Tyler Ross as we've got another change. Volpe gets away with one there. That was a sure foul out, but it looks like Gavadas lost it in the lights over on the right side, and he was way away from that ball when it landed.
And Volpe's got a cool story. Came to Falmouth in the middle of the summer last year as he fouls the 1-1 back. But before that, he was in the Hamptons League with the Shelter Island Bucks, and he absolutely killed it. 317 average, 16 home runs, and 46 RBIs, and that's in a summer season. Those are impressive stats, through a full season in college. So he was leading the league in home runs and RBIs when he got the call up to the Cape League. And he did hit a home run against Katuitt out at Lowell Park.
He had a glorious summer, and then you look at some of his school stats, and he struggled a little bit, but he's always had that power, which is kind of his game. It's the long ball or nothing for Alex Volpe. And, hey, more often than not, it works out for him, as it did last summer. When he came in for the Doors, though, he went 1 for 11 with that home run. 2 regular season games, 2 playoff games.
And that's kind of the trend you're seeing in baseball now more. It's a lot of home run or strikeout, all or nothing kind of stat lines.
Definitely not the way that general managers want it to go, as we get more money ball guys,
right, exactly.
small ball guys in the head positions, but then you have so many home run or strikeout type players. It's an interesting dynamic that Volpe definitely plays into a little bit. He's got a 3-2 count right here, so after falling behind 0-2, watches 3 straight balls, and Volpe in his first at bat of the 2019 summer looking to reach base. He will not. He goes down on a swinging strikeout for out number 1.
And this is Cam Bauman on the mound for Harwich, as struggling for the Mariners was Hunter Waldis, who only lasted 1 inning and gave up 3 earned runs. More on Bauman. He's a rising junior from Fairfield, Iowa. Plays for the Hawkeyes, 5.29 ERA, 5-4 record. Last summer was out in the Northwoods League.
First pitch he throws to Steven Moretto is a breaking ball cut on and missed. Iowa Hawkeyes, with Bauman being one of their pitchers. We saw a Big Ten team now in Omaha, the Michigan Wolverines, and it's rare that you see the Big Ten represented out there. Here's a fly ball into left field, shallow. Moretto will be retired for the second time for out number 2. But you look at the Wolverines making it to Omaha, and I think there were 5 Big Ten teams who made the postseason. And that's as many as the Pac-12, who had, 2 of the top 5 teams in the country, which is really impressive. Iowa not one of them, but you look over at the Big Ten, and Iowa, if they can get a little bit better, if, some of those other teams can start stepping it up there up north, they might have some powerful baseball being played.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Danny. Indiana and Illinois both making the tournament as well. They were both 2 seeds, so it wasn't like they were sneaking in there.
No, by no means. And Michigan they were a sneaky pick to go all the way to Omaha, too. They put up an impressive run towards the end of the season. A lot of people were riding them high.
And they bounced Oregon State in the Corvallis Regional, which was a huge surprise. One of 3 teams that was a defending national champion who was bounced in 2 games in the first round the following year.
Swing and a miss by Houghton. Now it's 1-2. So how about that? If you're Michigan, you're coming out of the Big Ten. You're a 3 seed. You didn't even win your conference. And then you've got to knock off the defending national champion at their home ballpark. You do that. And then you've got to knock off the number 1 team in the country, who's been number 1 for 12 straight weeks, at their home ballpark. And you do that too. Maddox Houghton gets a single on that nice line drive. So Houghton now with his second hit of the ball game. He improves to 2 for 4.
Houghton scored the first run of the game for Falmouth back in the 6th, and he's reached base every time since. He's hit by a pitch in the 7th, and a little flare shot into left field here in the 8th.
Now batting, the left fielder.
Austin Maisel, who came in for Jackson Coots in left field, will come up to the plate. He singled his first time up. Watches a first pitch fastball miss way in the dirt. Maisel, we mentioned, had a short summer and a tough summer. He didn't have the best 2018 with the Commodores, but his school stats are unbelievable. He was first team All-Patriot League last year. He was preseason All-Patriot League this year, his junior year. And then he was also the Patriot League Rookie of the Year back in 2017. He has been all that for the Holy Cross Crusaders.
And he's another local guy as well, Danny, from nearby at Stoneham, Massachusetts, went to Belmont Hill High School. Talking to him yesterday, he said he was so excited to be back, and even though his time in Falmouth was a little bit short last summer, he says he's so grateful for it and the opportunity to get a second chance.
1-1 fouled away towards the left side. Will it stay playable? It will not, as it went over the fence and back onto the field of play. So a foul ball makes it 1-2. And to bring up a guy who got a second chance on the Cape and really made it worthwhile. He was only a temporary player last year for the Commodores. He left early. Nobody expected too much. He goes and is the best pitcher in the ACC. That's Dan Metzdorf for Boston College, who then was drafted in, I think, the 5th round by the White Sox.
Yeah, he was. His performance in the ACC tournament bumped him way up.
Yeah, absolutely.
In those mock drafts, excuse me. And he was down here in Falmouth with a few other BC players a few weeks ago. Not returning to play, obviously, because of being drafted. But, yeah, he was locked down this year out in Chestnut Hill. And those two pitchers out at BC, he was one of them, were the reason that they were able to move on in that pool stage in the ACC tournament.
And no one expected that either, because he was another guy who, left early because some other players from other programs came in to replace him on the doors. Here's a ground ball right at short. Throw onto first in plenty of time. A 6-3 putout to retire the side. So the Commodores go down easy. They get one hit with 2 outs and leave him on first base. They score no runs on that one hit. No errors. And we will head to the top of the 9th. The Doors looking to shut the door on game number 1 with a victory leading 7-2. With the Doors leading 7-2 and the top of the 9th set to begin, Hayden Rosenkrantz warming up for his second inning of work, trying to lock things down and secure a 1-0 record on June 10th opening day. And we'll take a look around at some of the other teams and how they're faring on opening day across the Cape League with 4 other games going on.
Yeah, so we have one final score. The Cotuit Kettleers defeated the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox in a close game out at Lowell Park 4-3. Hyannis up 2-1 on Chatham in the bottom of the 7th. Falmouth obviously up 7-2 here at Gov Fuller Field. Wareham and Brewster in a close, low-scoring game out at Spillane 2-1 Gatemen. And the game that started the latest out in Orleans at Eldridge Park, they got the lights, and they're up 2-0 on the Bourne Braves. So outside of Falmouth's 7 runs, as we mentioned, Danny, Pitchers League early on, adjusting to those wooden bats can take some time, as we've seen a lot of low scores across the league today.
Yeah, 2-1, 2-1, 2-0, and then 4-3. Those two teams in Cotuit put all together as many runs as Falmouth has put across. So, again, a lot of low-scoring games. We weren't completely wrong. We said it would be low-scoring games. It turned out this game wasn't. 7-2. Nico Cavadas is trying to change that narrative. He's now behind 0-2, though. Rosenkrantz working from the stretch despite nobody on base. Now he gets a foul ball over towards the Harwich bullpen. Rare that you see a pitcher do that, but typical out of relievers.
Yeah, some guys just more comfortable from that stretch position.
0-2 offering to Cavadas, outside, ball 1. Falmouth with 7 runs on 10 hits, 1 error. Harwich 2 runs on only 4 hits, no errors. They put together 4 hits all against Tommy Sheehan and Logan Hoffman. Downstairs with that one. Sheehan gave up 3 hits, all of them softly hit, bloops and an infield single. Then Hoffman allowed a hit, and since then it has been locked down for the Doors pitching staff.
Yeah, we've only seen 1 extra base hit for either team. It was Daniel Harris's double back in the 2nd. And even though Falmouth has put up 7 runs on 10 hits, they have kind of found the gaps. They've
Yeah.
been infield hits, soft bloopers into the shallow infield, finding a hole between two infielders. So still some improvements that Falmouth can make.
This one high in the sky on the infield. Don't know who's calling for that. It looks like it's the third baseman, and it's dropped over at third base. Moretto playing third base in replacement of Fresca, and he drops the baseball about 10 feet behind the pitcher's mound. So another error charged against the Doors, their second of the ball game. And on first is Cavadas.
Moretto was very vocal, called for that ball right off the bat. Trey Cruz backed off. Rinaldi over at second was coming in as well, and he just tried to underhand it. Didn't look like he got right under it. You want to catch it right above your face. But again, working out the kinks, sort of a staple here in the early weeks of June on the Cape.
Wonder if those lights are giving guys trouble, because that's the second pop-up that should have been an out that instead has dropped. One, of course, went against Harwich out in foul territory. That one was also a mile in the air, so who knows how many turns that took up in the wind up there. 1-0 to Harris. Slow ground ball towards second. This could be two. Throw on to second for one. On to first. A 4-6-3 double play. That erases the base runner, and there are quickly 2 outs.
Steven Moretto giving a smile to Hayden Rosenkrantz as he tosses that ball back to the mound. As Rinaldi, Cruz, and Berardino, smooth play, no hiccups, and all of a sudden bases clear and 1 out away from a 1-0 record.
Second double play worked by the Commodores infield this ball game. First pitch over towards Koperniak is taken too far inside, ball 1. So Rosenkrantz has not allowed a hit despite having to play around a bunch of base runners. 1-0 catches the outside corner. He didn't allow a hit last inning, did allow a run, though, because of an error, and then a fielder's choice. This inning in the 9th, he lets up a base runner thanks to an error, quickly erases it with a ground ball double play. Cut on and missed on the 1-1 fastball, and Koperniak and the Mariners are down to their final strike. Falmouth looking to improve to 1-0 on the season on opening day. The 1-2 downstairs, 2-2. The 2-2 from Rosenkrantz, cut on and missed, strike 3. Koperniak goes down swinging, and that will do it. The Commodores play their win song on game number 1 as they are victorious by a score of 7-2 in front of the home crowd at Gov Fuller Field. A happy opening day for Falmouth. That makes it 2 years in a row in which they have won on opening day. Last year in Hyannis, this year in Falmouth. Again, putting up a lot of runs. 10 runs last year, 7 runs this year. So a lot to be happy about for the Commodores, and looking to pick up on that, continue it into tomorrow's home game.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Danny. The 6th and 7th innings were the difference. It's all about connecting the hits and getting the guys who are on second and third and have them come home. The Commodores did that after being really shut down for those first 5 innings. And Danny, excuse me, the pitching is outstanding for Falmouth. Something about the water here at Gov Fuller Field, but Tommy Sheehan, Logan Hoffman, and Hayden Rosenkrantz impressing on the bump early.
Only 4 hits allowed by the entire Falmouth pitching, 3 of them by the starter in his 4 innings of work. Otherwise, Hoffman and Rosenkrantz working the next 5 were lights out. 1 hit between the 2 of them, and 2 runs came across, 1 of them unearned. So pretty fantastic stuff from the Falmouth pitching. We'll see if that continues. We'll see if those guys even stick around. I mean, Sheehan's got 92 innings plus. You got to think that he's on an innings limit, but so far so good. No fatigue shown from Tommy through those 4 innings.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Danny. And Commodores trying to keep this momentum with a second game at home tomorrow night against Wareham with another 6 p.m. first pitch.
Yeah, defending champions Wareham Gatemen, who closed out the Commodores season at Gov Fuller Field a year ago. Commodores looking to get some revenge on Wareham in 2019, improve to 2-0 because, again, Game 1 may not all mean that much after last year when you look at what happened in Hyannis, 10-4. Things are rolling smooth, and then a 6-game losing streak. They end up 2-8, and you're halfway through June.
Right. And it's a long season. I mean, the first 10 games, you're sort of adjusting to the Cape League, adjusting to the Wood Bats, trying to get into your groove, especially as new guys come into town, but 1 game at a time.
1 game at a time it is, and Of course, rosters changing, teams changing. Now, don't really know what's going to happen come July. You just got to win your games in June, put yourself ahead for good. And so far, so good for the Commodores. They win Game 1 on opening day 7-2. 7 runs on 10 hits, 2 errors for the Doors, 2 runs on 4 hits, no errors for the visiting Mariners. As my partner said, Game 2 happening tomorrow right here at Gov Fuller Field. We'll have the broadcast. We'll be on at around 5:55. First pitch coming at 6 p.m. here on YouTube Live. Be sure to tune in for the post-game show for today. Closing the Door, Katie Florio, David Korzenowski will be on that. Check out our YouTube page for Closing the Door. We'll have interview with a player and a post-game recap as, again, for the final time here from Gov Fuller Field, it's Falmouth 7, Harwich 2. For my partner, David Korzenowski, for my producer, Tony Bianco, I'm Danny LaRose saying so long from the Gov. We'll see you in 24 hours.